Rev your engines and fasten your seatbelts. It's time for Thunder Talk with Dan Bailey, keeping you up to date on everything going on this season at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Thunder Talk is powered by Arcadia Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Now, here's your host, Dan Bailey.
Hey, race fans, welcome to another edition of Thunder Talk. I'm Dan Bailey. You know, last week on Thunder Talk, we got to speak with a quote-unquote first-time feature winner. But it was a first-time feature winner at Mississippi Thunder Speedway when Caden Cath had picked up his B-Mod feature win. This week, we get to speak with an actual, honest-to-goodness, first-time feature winner. Joining us on Thunder Talk this week is Tyler Werner, driver of the number 18 and a first-time feature winner last Friday night at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Tyler, first of all, welcome to Thunder Talk this week.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now, of course, I mentioned that last Friday night was your first ever feature win, and I got an opportunity to chat with you down in Victory Lane, and it seemed like it was almost overwhelming what was going through your mind last Friday night standing there in Victory Lane.
Just about anything you could imagine was going on through my head. I had way too many thoughts going on at once, and I was just trying to soak in as much as I possibly could.
How does this rank in your racing career thus far, picking up that first feature win?
I'd say it definitely takes the top of the cake for my racing career. I had quite a few accomplishments when I raced wing go-karts when I was younger, but definitely this one had the most excitement and the most thrill to it.
You know, you just brought up your past and how you got started in racing, so let's go down that road. Let's discover a little bit with our listeners here. How did you get started in racing, and what were your early efforts behind the wheel of a race car?
So my parents were driving around looking at garage sales, and they saw this little flat cart and decided to pick it up, and we started running Thunder Hill Speedway just outside of Menominee. Ran there for 6 or 7 years and graduated to the winged outlaw cart and ran Thunder Hill every Saturday.
You know, I get an opportunity to talk with a lot of racers who started out in karts, and it always intrigues me, so I ask this question, and I'll present it to you as well. How much of what you learned in the karting world have you been able to transfer over to what you drive now, this B-Mod on the bigger tracks, higher banks with the higher speeds?
At the beginning, I was definitely able to take quite a bit from the karts and take to the car, but as the years have gone on, I've kind of had to replace most of that with the suspension and the power steering in the cars. Everything, it just moves different. So, starting out, the karts helped a lot, but now just kind of getting a feel for the car, some of that stuff's been replaced with some new stuff.
Does it feel like maybe one of the main things that you learned in your karting career was simply the fact of working hard to get success? You don't just jump in and go out there and win your first race. It takes some time and it takes some mindset, and you have to learn that a lot more happens than just race day. You're spending time at the garage, you're working on the car, you're learning, as you just mentioned, new things about suspension. Is that maybe one of the most important things that you were able to learn through your karting career?
For sure, yeah. The times with the go-kart racing, we hadn't had a race shop, so it was basically my dad and I working out of the garage, the two-car garage at our house, and we'd be working on it throughout the week and go out and hit the track Saturday, and always felt good to end up with a win after all the work throughout the week.
It was fun watching you last Friday night in Victory Lane. It was fun watching you celebrating and enjoying the moment, but it was also fun watching you, getting a hug up there in Victory Lane. Before we get to sponsors, tell us who helps Tyler Werner Racing week in and week out in the form of family members and relatives and friends, etc.
In fact, of Tyler Werner Racing, it's basically just my pops that is working with me. It's a two-man crew, me and him, ever since the start. It's just been me and him, and yeah, like I said, on Friday night, it's the backbone of the operation. He's the reason we're there every Friday, and he's the reason I'm still racing now.
So it sounds like it's pretty much you and Pops versus the world, and when you were able to enjoy that moment in Victory Lane with him last Friday night, probably made it that much more sweeter, didn't it?
Oh, for sure. When he walked up and saw him after we had got done talking, yeah, that was a sweet moment for the both of us.
So now let's run down that official list of supporters. The car looks great this year, by the way. Tell us about all those businesses that we see on the number 18 week in and week out.
Yeah, so I'd like to thank my grandma and grandpa Werner, Tractor Central, Southworth Chevrolet, Buick GMC, Steve and Amy Henderson Trucking, Valley Custom Welding, Flying Ryan Sports Bar and Grill, DR Larson Heating and Cooling, Tim's Automotive Machine, and CMD Race Shocks.
So now let's focus in on last Friday night specifically. You were able to pick up that feature win, but let's kind of do the roll call. Right behind you across the line was the previous week's feature winner, Caden Kath. No slouch there himself. He turned some fast laps. Right behind Caden, former track champion Sean Walski. Right behind Sean, defending track champion Ryan Olson. Right behind Ryan Olson, former national champion Troy Hovey. Right behind Troy Hovey, former feature winner Taylor Scalgi. I mean, you had to battle the cream of the crop, the best of the best. At any time during that feature last Friday night, did you think about who you literally were battling for that win? And did that weigh heavy on you? Did that make it harder for you? Or did that make it all the more fun trying to get to that checkered flag?
I think it made it all the more fun just because ever since we've started running, we've known that week in, week out, if we're going to win, we got to beat the best of the best. So we just kept our heads down, kept working, and it just makes it all the more sweeter to know, the people that we beat to get there. That just makes it that much more of a moment.
The realities of motorsports are that no one is going to win the rest of the season, right? You've got this first one out of the way. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to win every race for the rest of your career, but what sort of goals, or how maybe has this changed the goals that you might have set for the rest of the 2020 season for you and a number 18 B-Mod?
Well, at the start of the season, the goals were kind of pick off some heat race wins, and if we can snag a feature, that'd be perfect. But now we're not even quite half done, and we got a heat win, and now we have a feature win. So I think the heat wins goal is still a thing that we have set, but now I think we might look a little further into maybe a couple more feature wins if we can get them.
Are you the type of racer that really follows the points battles week in and week out? I mean, as we look at Mississippi Thunder Speedway standings, a majority of your competitors have 7 feature starts. You only have 6, and you're still in the top 7. Is that something that you pay attention to now, or will you wait for that to develop until you get a little closer to the end of the season?
We've never really been the one to watch the points. Maybe halfway through the season we'll look at it and see where we're at. But I wouldn't say we're chasing points, but I think a goal of ours is always just to run consistent week in, week out, and usually that'll get you up towards the top of the points. So, towards the end of the season, if we're in contention, we'll shoot for it. But for now, I think just shooting for consistency is the goal.
Well, Tyler Werner, it was a very fun Friday night for you, I'm sure, and it was fun for me just to be a part of it, to stand down there in Victory Lane and chat with you while you were soaking in the moment. Congratulations, sincerely, congratulations on that first feature win. Best of luck for you and the team the rest of this 2020 season, and I must say thank you very much for taking some time to be with us on Thunder Talk this week.
Thank you.
That was Thunder Talk, keeping you up to date on everything going on at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Thunder Talk is powered by Arcadia Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram.
You ever notice that when you're on a fishing trip, you drive your boat all the way to the other side of the lake because you think that's where the best fishing is? And the people staying at the cabins on that side of the lake, well, they come and fish where your cabin is. You don't have to drive a long ways to catch the big fish. And at Arcadia Motors, you don't have to drive a long ways to get the best deal on a new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram truck. The best deals are right in the bay next to your cabin. Take the short, scenic drive to Arcadia Motors. ArcadiaDodge.com.